Kia ora, my name's Jane Yee and welcome to This is Kiwi. This season we're talking to 6 remarkable Kiwi who represent a new generation that's using the power of passion to unlock financial freedom. My guest today lives and breathes dancing. It went from a hobby to a passion and now a successful career that's made her financially independent and creatively fulfilled. She's shared the stage with some of the biggest music stars in the world. She's appeared in a hit Korean reality TV show and has built a following of more than 3 million across social media. She also happens to be one of the most beautiful souls I've ever had the pleasure of talking to. And I'm so glad you'll get to see that side of her too. Here's Kirsten Dodgen on This is Kiwi. Kirsten Dodgen, it's so amazing to have you in the studio for This is Kiwi. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
We were just saying off air that you haven't done many of these kind of long form interviews, so I feel like we're going to get all the goss. We're going to find
emotions and all.
We're going to discover who the real Kirsten is. But
Lovely.
But I mean, in your words, who is Kirsten Dodgen? Do you ever think about that?
I have to ask myself, to be honest, and remind myself what I do and who I am. And I think I'm still discovering a lot about myself, but I am a professional dancer. I am a creative and I am a choreographer as well. And again, I am still discovering who else I am.
Yeah. And you're still young. How old are you?
26.
So you've got so much time to discover so many things.
Exciting.
It's very exciting. How did you get into dance?
Well, the story that my mom told me is I came out the womb moving. She said I always just loved to move, and whenever the music would come on, I would just always want to bop around and move, and I think she saw something in me, so she just put me into ballet, jazz, you name it, and from there I just discovered a joy of dance, really.
And did you, obviously you moved into hip-hop dancing.
Yes.
But you started out, as you said, in a bunch of different disciplines. At what point did you kind of just focus on the hip-hop?
I think it was, so I'm originally from South Africa. I moved to New Zealand when I was about 5, turning 6, and it was my mum that actually started hip-hop classes at Botany Town Centre. There used to be a dance studio upstairs. And so she used to go weekly to go just to an open class. Yeah. And then she told, I think, one of the instructors that she has a daughter that dances all the time and wants to get her into classes. And so they opened a class up for, I think it was, I don't know, I don't want to say what age, but kids at the time. And so that's kind of how it started. And I was learning hip hop and I was learning just to move my body. And so, yeah, my mum is kind of the reason that I moved into that kind of genre. And yeah,
that's incredible. Mum doing adult classes. I have been there. My sister.
Really?
I come from a family of dancers.
Oh my gosh,
Kirsten,
amazing.
I can't dance.
No.
I really can't. I went into this adult class in my 30s and I went in there and there were a bunch of 50, 60-year-old women and I had to leave.
Really?
Yeah, I just didn't get the gene.
I believe everyone can dance. I do. I honestly do.
Okay, Kirsten, I can dance, but I can't dance well.
Okay. You can dance. What happened?
I don't know what happened. I'm number 5 of 5, and I think they just run out of the dancing genes by the time I came along. That's okay. I'm a chatterbox instead.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. We're here talking.
I know. It's like both of our skills in one. Please don't ask me to dance.
I'm probably going to.
You'll have to put on Come On Eileen and it be on a wedding dance floor and then you'll see what I can bring.
Noted.
Parents will often encourage their kids in terms of hobbies with things like dancing and sports, but to go to a professional level is something quite different. So obviously your mum took you along. She was really happy with you dancing. When it came to being like, this is what I want to do with my life, did you feel any pressure or was there any pushback from people around you?
I think there was actually, not to think, there was.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that I had both my parents to support me through my whole journey. And at the time I didn't know I wanted to make it a career. I just knew that I loved it so much and I wanted to move all the time. So school was a big player in that. And a lot of my teachers and schools as well didn't really support or think anything of it. And it was a bit sad because obviously as a kid you want to go to school and enjoy it. And academically wise, I wasn't really the brightest, and I didn't really enjoy it, but I wanted to move, and sadly there wasn't a subject for dance. Drama was one which I absolutely loved expressing myself, but sadly I actually had a lot of teachers put me down and say that it wasn't going to be a career, and if I'm missing this much of school then I should just leave. And as a student you don't want to hear that, you know, and so I'm really grateful that I had a base at home where I didn't have to come home and mope. I just came home, went to rehearsals, danced on the weekends, on my holidays, 24/7 really. And that is what got me through it. So yes, sadly in this world we do have a lot of people that are going to push you down and tell you you can't do it because they don't know that journey, or they don't know.
Yeah. Because it's not,
familiar for them.
the societal norm or the
Yes.
predictable path that a lot of people take.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you've touched on something there that's really interesting about, you know, being able to have that support from your family if you weren't getting it at school. But there will be, for sure, people who had this potential that maybe didn't have the support at home as well, didn't have the support at school, and just never got to realise that potential, which is kind of heartbreaking.
It
eh?
is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it shows like you come into this world alone. You still have your family, but if you want something so bad, you're not going to let the noise outside interrupt. Or I always think if you have a thought and no one else is thinking it, it's for a reason. Or if you have a fire in you and no one believes in you, there's a reason why that fire is inside of you, you know. Because again, you don't want to be like everyone else. You are different. You come into this world different. You have talents that are so different to other people, skills that are different to others. But you have to hold on to that because that's what makes you unique, you know?
So give us a little, where you're at now. So you're part of a Jam Republic crew?
Yes. So
Talk us through, for the uninitiated, how dance crews, how studios and all that kind of thing works.
So I'm just going to go down the line.
Go down the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my journey through dance has always been either at dance studios or joining crews. And at the time, there was a lot of crews that I went or jumped, I know bad, but jumped crews to compete in different competitions. And my upbringing was learning the basics when I was little. And then my pure fire and focus was competitions. And so I landmark the royal family and the Palestine studio as a massive part of my career. And I was competing at HHI, which is the World Hip Hop Champs, and that was held in Vegas and just in America. And at that age, it was like a huge achievement to even travel and be able to be on that stage and represent New Zealand at a young age. And I went with a crew called Bubblegum, and we went to HHI. And my first year, or second year actually, I lie, second year going to the comp, and we ended up taking out gold. And I've never felt so much excitement and so much joy, especially as a company and as a young girl coming also back, and then seeing everyone around be so proud and me not actually realizing what was actually achieved. And so that hunger and passion through competing really is grounded into me now till this day. So yeah, I went through my crew days, and then I jumped to doing a bit solo work and teaching around the world, and that was more of my choreographer coming out and seeing people light up and want to learn my piece that I create was something that I didn't know of, and seeing everyone also absolutely kill it and perform my piece and bring so much joy, that already was like, okay, I'm doing something right. And then jumble down the line. I was not offered, but I'm a part of now an agency called Jam Republic, and my manager reached out to me and said there was this TV show in Korea called Street Woman Fighter 2. And one of my best friends, who was also part of the group, she was telling me how she was a massive fan of the first season. And she's like, it's drama, it's battling, it's dancing. And I'm like, freaking out, because again, battling is another world, and then the drama, I've never been really on a reality TV show like that. And she's the reason I said yes. And so we ended up putting a crew together, and that was 3 girls from New Zealand, 1 girl from Australia, and 1 girl from America. And we all came together, flew over to Korea, and then just started filming. And I think ever since that show, it's just changed my life as well. And I guess also brought another dimension to dance and what we performed on that show. And I didn't realize it would reach that far just going over to Korea, thinking it's just going to be based there and in Asia. So to see it really impact the world globally like that was amazing to me, so shocked to me.
That competition stuff versus just, I guess, doing a performance that's just for show and enjoyment. Are there different modes of Kirsten that go on the stage?
100%.
What goes through your head just before you're about to take the stage for a comp?
So much nerves, so much thoughts. But I think when nerves are there, it's the best thing because you're excited. This is something exciting to do, and I don't know how, but I managed to turn those nerves into just excitement that I want to just blast out and impact, I guess, everyone that's sitting there. And comp is very different. You know, you train so hard. You put so much hours, more hours than anything just to perform for 2-3 minutes is wild, you know? So, yeah, it's definitely game mode. Have you
ever had any disasters?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, both comp and on stage. So one, I think I was in a mega crew and we were in varsity and there's about 30 plus of us on stage and I'm doing a transition going on stage and then I dance and then I'm coming off stage. One of my girls tapped my foot and it took me down and I fully fell flat on my bum on stage and I'm freaking out and luckily I thought it was the biggest thing of, I look back, it's a tiny little fall, got up, keep going.
But it wasn't even your fault, it was her fault.
I know, but at the same time, team effort, you know? It's all love.
And also when you're on the stage, I mean, especially part of the, you know, you guys move in such sync a lot of the time that it is almost like you are these parts, these moving components of this one big thing. But actually, all of you are individuals. You all bring a little bit of yourself to the stage, but off stage, you're all probably like incredibly different people.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we always have whoever's in charge is always leading us, and Paris is normally always sitting at the front, or so whoever's the leader of the group will be sitting at front. And I think at the end of the day, we all want to be clean, and we all need to dance as one. Because again, say if someone's in the side of the triangle and wants to just show themselves, they have the wrong intention. And again, to win something or to complete or put out something amazing, you're just as weak as your weakest link, you know? So, you're just as strong as your weakest link. And I think it's so important that everyone has the same goal and everyone needs to be as one. You know, you can't win anything by yourself.
So what was it like transitioning from crew life to going out and performing and kind of just being a bit more on your own? Did it feel like you lost a bit of a shield?
Oh, it was. I think traveling as a group for so long, you rely on everyone around you, you know. You're always in a group. And so I was someone that couldn't go anywhere by myself. And I always had to have someone with me, or I was just afraid to always be left alone by myself. And so that helped me grow and see the world and had to realize that it's just me, you know, and it's fine and I'm safe and I can trust myself. And I learned so much. I absolutely loved seeing the world, saw it in a different eye, you know, and I got to figure out who I am and what I want to give, and performing with a group and then leaving and performing by myself. I saw the power and I saw people see something in me. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I must be doing something right, because why are these people coming to learn from me, and why are they so inspired by me? So, yeah, it was a learning journey, and I'm so grateful that now I can travel by myself.
Well done.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Gold medal for you for traveling by yourself.
Yes, another one.
Do you must have pinch me moments. Who are some of the artists that you've danced with, like the music artists or the recognisable celebrity names that, you know, I'm going to force you to drop right now, that we had you going, how is this real? How is this my life?
My goodness. J-Lo was a huge one for me, and always watching the videotapes go in, and we recorded, I think, one of her shows, and my mum would always put it on and I would always want to watch it. And I just watched it and I was like, I want to be dancing with her. And I think there was one song that was playing that we constantly played when I was younger. And at the Super Bowl, we were just standing at rehearsals, just in the rehearsal space, and she played the song. And it just took me back to like my younger self standing, watching the TV going, wow, this is so crazy. Little Kirsten is doing this. And I didn't ask. It's not like I was like, I'm going to do this. It was just such a reflection of like anything's possible. How did I get here? I didn't even see myself doing this stuff, or I just thought dance was fun, you know?
Yeah.
I just wanted to move in some sort of way, and competitions were in my head, and being in New Zealand as well, I didn't think I would travel or do anything like that. So, yeah, it was such a surreal moment, and I was like, I'm so grateful to be standing here and be able to just make my little self proud, you know?
Have you ever thought of, like up until this point, had you thought of yourself as a leader? Was that something that you strived for or saw in your future?
No, not really. It's funny because I didn't like even choring.
Right.
I didn't want to be put in front and then everyone had to listen to me and listen to what I told them to do. I preferred to just be sitting and you tell me what needs to be done and I'll get it done. But again, I had to learn that and I had no choice. And again, something uncomfortable is always good because it's something new. It's a new skill that I definitely picked up, and I'm so glad I was forced into it because now I can sit and now I know how I would like to lead a team. And I now am still learning, you know, I'm not the perfect leader, but I'm open to still being led by other people. But if I need to step up and fill that spot, I will definitely do it to my fullest.
What sort of, I'm going back to some basics again now. What sort of style of dance do you do? What would you call it? Is it even something that you can genreify?
I think it's always funny. I really don't know what to call my style of movement. I want to say choreography, but again, so many styles have impacted my life and my journey, and also my background is brought through that, you know, from South Africa, coming to New Zealand, learning the dance style here, the culture too, you know, that's what represents me. And every person that I come into contact with or I feel inspired by, or I see a choreographer or a dancer, when I learn from them, I'm also taking parts and I'm discovering also in myself what I want to show. And it's so hard to put it into one word or what it really is, but I always just like to express. I feel like it's an expression and what comes to mind and what I want to showcase in this song or I want to showcase in this feeling. And yeah, I really couldn't put it into words. It's just everything. It's just me, you know.
What kind of audience makes you most nervous? I'm just thinking when you see, like in terms of like if you know someone's going to be there, as if it's like best friends, old crew members.
I think it's family sometimes. It really is. And like people that I respect. I think a lot of people have played like dancers or people that I feel very inspired by. I get a bit nervous because I'm like, oh, I need to pull up now. I need to show my best. But yeah, family as well, definitely.
Everyone's important when you're a performer, right?
Yes.
Every audience is important.
Yes, exactly.
If you're doing like a little showcase at the mall versus on the Super Bowl, same applies.
It's the same thing. I'm going to give my 120% for sure.
Amazing. TikTok has changed dancing, right? Like the landscape of dancing, the interest in dancing, because I didn't know there were so many people in this world who could dance. And I'm reminded again that I cannot.
And all ages, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But it's opened up this world for you of social media as a way to connect with an audience beyond just whoever's in the room.
Yeah. It's been great. I think at first when TikTok came out, I was a bit confused in what was going on.
I'm still confused, Kirsten, so don't worry about
a little bit here too. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it was very interesting because I had two sides of me. The dancer side of you work so hard in the studio and now you come onto this platform and you're doing your dances and people now have a lot to say. But then I looked at the other side and I was like, wow, this is a great platform for anything.
For just having some fun as well,
And
right?
having fun, doing dances and people just copying the dances and the impact that dancer, non-dancer, I don't know, some of them out of this world, can come together and it's dance or it's music or it's, again, now it's obviously evolved and you can learn so much on TikTok. You can find anything on TikTok. I'm finding food recipes, That's mainly my TikTok. It's
like
not even dance.
Google's shaking in its boots because of TikTok, right?
I need something, I need a review, I'm going to find it, and it's so handy. And I came around, at first I was like, I'm not going to do these TikToks. And then lockdown came. And then I was mucking around with my sister, bring my mum into the videos, my dad into videos. And I just was like, this is a pure joy. And then I was like, okay, this is a great platform for anyone, especially during COVID. You couldn't go anywhere. So you're in your living room, you're in your house, you're outside, I don't know, going for a walk if you're allowed to. And in the park, just filming yourself. And some people, that's their way of expressing themselves. And so, I ended up actually enjoying it and had to look at it as it's just fun. And so Instagram for me was like, okay, that's where my proper work is going to be. And then TikTok is like, it's just pure fun. It's a way to connect to people. It's faster to connect to people as well through there. But yeah, it's changing the world.
And then Facebook is just where you keep in touch with your auntie, right?
Yeah. My whole family back in South Africa.
Where you get the happy birthday messages once a year.
Yes, and I'm looking through and I'm like, oh, thank you, uncle, thank you, auntie. Oh my gosh.
How important is your South African heritage to you, and how do you bring that into this dance world?
Well, that culture is pure happiness. Dance brings so much joy. There's music always playing. There's the aunties, the uncles, everyone is dancing, You're having a braai with your family and music is always playing. And so in my growing up, I always had the music in. I'd always be picked up and dancing. I'm dancing with my cousins or I'm dancing with my uncle, my auntie. And so that coming to New Zealand, because there's only 4 of us, my mum, my dad and my sister, we kind of shrunk a little bit. And so then I had to go and explore and I had to see what other cultures were like and the fundraisers too and meeting the different cultures. And I feel like I have like brushes of the culture on me, and it's so important to me because that's what makes a person a person, You don't want to be, not everyone has the same story. Let's just say that. And to bring different cultures together and make sure that it's your platform, it's your ground, is so important because you don't want to be washed away in this world. And everything you learn from your family, from the ancestors or the history, it's so important. And so I'm really grateful that South African blood is still going through me, and I've been touched also with this power that we have here as well that also impacted the whole world. I'm going to carry that with all my heart, and really represent that and still take on other cultures. But those two are really my heart, really.
In terms of what you can bring to this world, I suspect that you've got kind of some purpose that exists within you.
I really hope so.
Do you know what that might be? Have you identified? I mean, you're still young, so no pressure.
I'm still figuring it out. But it's always sat on my heart. It's the people's face, the expression when they see me dance or they see my videos. And it's the way that they feel empowered, whether it's a smile. And I've had to learn because, again, I can't see myself. I can't see what other people see. So if you have that many people believing in you and are so impacted by you, there's a reason for it. When I was on stage and seeing people feel so impacted, and I think it's even like the messages of like, you're saving people's lives, And that's a bit scary when you first hear it. But the impact, if I can make 1 person out of 10 people happy or put a smile on their face during my dance, I'm saving someone's life, And it gets to that point. There's a lot of people that, oh my gosh, an ugly crier. But
Well, I mean, I have, I have a history of depression and anxiety,
Really?
and when you're in those states, and you're gonna make me cry in a minute. When you're in those states, those little moments of joy are a lifeline. They really are. They really are. So, I believe what you're saying. That you are making an impact.
Yeah.
I think it's so important that we all realise these different career paths that may not be the typical ones still exist for a reason.
Exactly.
I mean, there's the economics of it. Yep, you can actually make a living doing all these different things these days. But there's also the connection that you have with people through different paths.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important. So I always watch these videos and they always ask, like, older people, what's one thing that you wish you could tell your younger self? And it's to create memories. It's to have an impact. I'd rather have an impact on a certain amount of people than try and shoot to be this person, act like this, because that's not me, you know. And if I'm changing people's lives, doing what I love, and it's pure joy, that's my job done, you know. That's so important. That's something that I would tell my kids.
Yeah.
And be like, I was put on this earth I was blessed with a talent that I don't know, I didn't really ask for it. I just came out moving like this. And if that can just change people's lives and bring joy to them, oh my gosh, that's so powerful, you know, it's so impactful. And I'd rather them go into the world and impact the world than chase or be someone that they're not. Because there's so many people in the world that are trying to be someone they're not, instead of just trusting themselves and being different, because that's the best thing. Oh my gosh.
I feel like, what you've just said circles right back again to really taking care of what you say to people and how you can impact their journey, because you're an amazing human. I can tell that just by sitting in this room with you and everything that you've had to say and share. But not everyone has the same resilience inside to hold on to their dreams and hold on to their truth. And it's there the danger lies with the impact of other people coming in and kind of messing with what might already be a very fragile sense of self-worth that can, upset the balance and push people in a direction that, means they don't reach their potential. Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it is really sad.
But
oh my gosh.
At the same time, everyone has a path too. And it doesn't mean that you've been pushed down by these people because of this. Because you're going to go into another stream or another line of work or environment, and you have the choice to impact that space and still live happily and still do what you love on the side, because there's no turning back completely, And I always believe that if you love something so much, you will never let go of it. You'll always find a way, and it doesn't have to be something so professional if that is triggering for you, but it could just, like, if it was dance. You're dancing in your kitchen when you make your dinner, your lunch, your breakfast, whatever it may be, it brings joy. So whatever you're fighting for, you can always make the time for it. And if it's not financially stable, you're already putting in work into another spot, but it doesn't mean you should forget about it, because that could just be one fire, but there's so much fires that are constantly going and breaking out, that one person, it's one comment out of your whole life, and it's one person that doesn't understand what's inside of you.
And therefore it doesn't matter what they think.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, thank goodness I didn't let that one comment or that one person really ruin my dreams. Because again, you could be thriving in another world,
How do you relax? Kirsten, because your body, you're using it all the time, and your body is your work. But it's important to rest and relax as well as part of that.
Yeah. I like to do nothing, watch TV, watch movies. I love watching movies in my downtime. Even in my hotel rooms overseas, I've just given so much. So my way is just putting on a movie, laying in bed and eating food.
Yeah.
That's my relaxing time.
Do you get scared that you might get an injury that will stop you from dancing?
Yes. I think I there was a point where the injuries were happening too frequent. And it was the same injury. And again, I always think that I am untouchable because obviously as a kid, you hurt yourself, you get back up. You're training 24/7, your body's fine. And the more older I get, the realization of, okay, I need to look after my body because again, this is what I love to do. And this is also my bread and butter. This is going to keep me out there. This is going to keep me going. And I know that I won't be able to dance the rest of my life. But if I can push that and see how far I can go while being in a good mindset and looking after my body, then I will do anything that I can to prevent that. And if it happens, it happens. And I have to deal with it, but I will deal with it in a positive way. Might freak out, but I'll deal with it in a positive way because any athlete, of course, that one little snap, that one little hit, that one little trip, whatever it may be, you don't want to hear that. No. You're active, It's the worst thing that could happen. But again, your mind is so strong. So it's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to do what you do, to do what athletes do, mental strength is such a huge part of it. Yeah.
It really is. I've also tweaked my knee when I was rehearsing. And that was downhill. Obviously, you're so young. You're like, oh my gosh, my life's over. I can't do this. But then it's so devastating. But because I actually healed it properly and I rehabbed properly and I looked after myself, it never came back again. So, yeah, it's definitely going to get you down, but you just have to be positive and look after your body and make sure that you prevent it from happening again.
What's a common misconception people have about you, Kirsten?
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating. And I hear the word biatch.
Really?
Which is so interesting. Maybe they just think that's who I am as a person.
Because you have, it's almost necessary in the style of dancing that you do, even though it's many, many styles. It's like a bit of attitude, a bit of sass. And especially if you're competing and you're competitive,
Exactly.
You can see it in your face.
It's game time.
I can tell everyone that you are not intimidating at all and probably actually one of the sweetest people I have ever met in my life.
Oh.
Take me back to the first time you ever made money through dancing.
Funny. It was a competition, like a talent quest. It wasn't actually money, it was like vouchers, but in my mind it's like money.
It's a currency of sorts.
And so it was the Westfield, I think it was like a competition held in Westfields. And my mum signed me up and I got on that stage and I put together, I think it was a 1 minute solo. And I ended up taking out the first prize and I think I was probably like 9 or 10.
I have two nearly 10-year-olds and I can't imagine them going out and winning a competition.
I mean, it was so chill. It's whoever's walking in the mall, they had a pop-up. And I just remember coming, I had my gear on and I was nervous, but I just wanted to dance. And then I ended up taking it out and I think there was another round and you obviously get more money, but I think it was maybe $200 worth.
That's so much
I
money
know.
for that age.
That's when I was like, wow, booyah. And I was like, Mum, we're going shopping. And so my mom, she took me around. And that was the first time that I was like, oh my gosh, I won some money. I won a prize, for first place. And yeah, I definitely had a good shopping spree.
What does your work look like for you now? What are the different ways that you are making money?
So dance is a bit of a big pool. There's dancing and teaching. That's when I go around and I take classes. I teach classes around the world. And then there's also jumping into my choreographer pocket where I choreograph.
Isn't it awful? That
so
is the
hard.
worst word and you have to use it all the time.
I know, and I barely, my English is not the best, and I just mumble and jumble, so I'm so sorry if some of this did not make sense. You get the gist.
My sister is the same. She's a dance teacher. She's had a dance school and a syllabus and all that, and
it's just words come out.
It's a tricky word to say.
So choreography back where I get to you know what I mean. I get to
choreograph. You get to choreo. See, that's what
choreo?
That's what I say. That's industry speak, right?
Exactly. So I choreo for artists, and at the moment I've choreoed for K-pop artists, and that's opened a great door doing this show. And then also I have my social media side, and that is with deal brands or all that kind of jazz, which is exciting. And I yet to open more doors. I think, again, you go into the commercial side of dance as well. And I was so grateful to do a commercial with Hyundai in Korea. And again, just shows that dance is very universal and it can be connected. And even us speaking here, you know, bringing that together, it just shows dance is so special and it's universal and it can bring and inspire people. So, yeah. There's many other streams that I would love to open up and maybe get into my own brand. Don't know what that may be, but I speak it out to the future and see where else it can take me.
Yeah. Have you had an aha moment in your career?
Yes, actually. Going back to the Westfield competition. After taking first and then getting the cash money or winning the prize, I think that was a moment of, okay, I can enter these competitions and I can come first place. And again, there's also rewards, but just to have first place was a great wake up to go, okay, I actually really enjoy this and I want to take out more and add it to my list, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the start of it all.
If you could sum up your experiences leading up to your success in one word, what would that word be?
I don't have one word. I've got 2 words.
2 words is fine. I'll allow you to.
I think it's the passion. Passion always has to be there. Passion and love. I mean, passion and love, one. And consistency. Be consistent. Yeah.
And if you say it really fast together, passion, love and consistency, it's all one word.
Passion, love and consistency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's cute. So in terms of passion, love and consistency, what does that actually look like in real terms when you talk about that being, summing up the experiences that you've had in your career?
I think for me, it's just giving time. I think time is our best friend, and sometimes we don't have enough time, but we really do. And I think if something so important to you, and for me, dance was everything. And so I was dancing whenever I could, whether that's dancing in my living room, dancing, you're moving your body, you're still adding to that. Whether it's putting on music, for me, music gets me moving. That's the reason. I'm not going to dance just for the sake of dancing, but anything, listening to the radio and the music's going. I'm thinking of like dances in my head or like moving to it. And then putting an effort to go to a studio or find a space and dedicate an hour, whether it's 2 hours, maybe it's 5 hours, to moving your body, to moving to whatever it could be. That's the dedication of like giving, to coming to it every day. It's the same thing like waking up, you know, if you dedicate the morning to just reflecting or starting your day right, you're going to have a consistent day, even if you wake up feeling miserable. But because you were so consistent and you want to make sure that you're changing and breaking that, you're going to be consistent in that way. So I think it's just finding anything. And whether you miss one day doesn't mean you fall back. You keep going, you know, you have to be consistent, whether it's once a week, maybe it's twice, every day, whatever your creative process is or whatever that hobby that's turned into a passion is, you always find time for it. Yeah.
What is a budget list must-have that you couldn't live without?
I think makeup. Makeup is so expensive these days, but I still love to have a little shop around Sephora or Mecca.
And it's fun.
It's fun. I like trying to figure out the products and play around. I'd love to just do makeup too, you know. It'd be fun.
Maybe makeup is your thing. Maybe
I don't know. My makeup today is looking poor.
I apologise for that.
Apologise, guys.
I apologise for making you cry. But, maybe,
maybe
Kirsten Dodgen makeup line. That could be it. We'll see. I'm going to check back in 10 years and see where you're at.
Might be walking with the walking stick. No, I'm kidding.
That's fine because you don't need to be fully mobile to be a life coach. So
okay, I'm still holding that.
Yeah, hold that too. Okay, Kirsten, are you ready for your quick fire questions?
I'm ready.
Okay. What are you saving for at the moment?
I'm saving for a property at the moment.
What about your first big purchase?
Ooh, I think my first big purchase was probably like a bag.
Okay, what's your go-to treat?
Again, donuts. I love donuts.
What brings you joy?
Oh, food brings me joy. Spending time with my family brings me joy, like activities and going out. I think fun brings me joy. Dance brings me joy. Seeing people smile, have fun brings me joy.
What's the last thing you splurged on?
Okay, this is really spontaneous, but this has been something that's been on my bucket list, and I just wanted to surprise my family. But I did a family trip to Fiji, so it was spontaneous, but it's great.
Amazing.
And I can't wait to go.
Can I join your family?
Yes, you
Thank
can.
you. Let's just keep that in mind next time you're booking that trip to Fiji. It'd be
Next
lovely.
week, yeah.
Oh, it's probably not too late.
Put in your leave. No. Oh my goodness.
That's so kind and so generous, and I think speaks to your family having given so much to you to get you where you
Yes.
are, that it's really nice you're giving back too.
Of course. Honestly, my family are the reason, everything they sacrificed, everything they went through. And again, money's now being an adult, now I understand.
Yeah.
I can't imagine back then with me and my sister and still trying to make my dreams come true. So all the sacrifices, all I can do is really just give back to them. And
Yeah.
that's all I want to do.
Did you talk about money when you were growing up in your house at all?
Not really. I mean, me asking for money, asking for some money for food, and then
Those conversations still happen with children today, I can assure you.
yeah. But I slowly learnt because, again, my parents didn't just give me money.
Yeah.
And I had to work for my money, do chores, or I need to help my dad. And then when I kind of was in high school, when I had free time, my dad was like, you should get a job. And I looked and I got a job. And I was unpacking the freezers, being at this like foodish store. And in my free time, I'd finish school and I would just drive. Well, not drive because I couldn't drive at the time, but my dad would drop me off. And I'd work just like 2 hours a week. And then on the weekends and school holidays when I had time. And then I saw the value of, if I do this many hours, I'm going to get this much. And then I was like, okay, and then I can save for this or I can do this. And then my dad started teaching me about savings and budgeting and all that kind of stuff. So now I'm really grateful at a place that he's still educating me and I've got stuff to learn too, for sure.
There's always stuff to learn. I know, but to your point, there's ways to communicate and teach about money that isn't always necessarily the basics of having a conversation about it. Role modeling, and encouraging your kids to earn their pocket money,
work for it.
and work
it's
for
not
it.
going to be handed on a.
No.
Definitely ain't going to be
I've
handed.
yet to find the job where you don't have to do anything
Me
and they
too.
just give you a paycheck.
I wish I could just lay back, just relax.
Well, I think next time you're in the hotel and you're watching the movie and you're eating the donuts and you're thinking, this is part of my job, I'm kind of getting paid to do this right now.
And I'm so grateful. So great. I tell myself that all the time, because again, people thought I wasn't able to live this life, and I'm still working. It's not easy. It's definitely hard, and I have to work to get an income. I don't have a steady schedule.
Yeah.
And
you've got to keep that in mind with how you spend too, right? Because
Exactly.
what came through the bank account last month might not be what's coming through this month.
Exactly. So, yeah, you just have to keep yourself, and there's always ways to keep yourself going, and whether that's creating to fill your time. People are always watching. There's always a way to evolve and get brand deals or get income coming. So I'm really grateful to be doing what I do and where I am today.
Before you go, Kirsten, before I let you go, finally, I'm just going to ask you one last question. If there's one thing that Kiwi could do this week to start on achieving their goals, what would you recommend that thing be?
I think it's the start. The word start. We always think about it. We always want to do it, but we don't actually do it. But I think about actually starting and putting a base or a plan towards that, I think it's the best thing that can happen. And then turning it into action. Because again, you can plan and plan and plan and plan and not actually do or fulfill that. So it's actually starting. It's actually moving in that direction to wherever it may lead you or whatever you want to start. But that's the most important thing to do. And to follow, make sure you're putting everything into it. There needs to be some passion. There needs to be love into that. Otherwise, it's just something else, you know. And if it's that special and meaningful for yourself, just start. Yeah.
Start and then love it and be passionate about it and have some consistency.
Yeah. End goal. Achieve. Aim for the world, you know. The world is your oyster.
Kirsten, you are such a delight. I've so enjoyed my time in this
I've
gym.
loved talking to you.
It's sad that we have to bring it to an end, and we'll probably have a cry about that.
Oh my
once the
gosh, I'm
cameras
going to be
start
looking
rolling.
back at this going, Kirsten, sort yourself.
No, it's good. We are people that are made up of all
We're
different
humans.
parts, all different emotions, and I think it's important to show that and share that. But thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank
And
you
just
so much.
really in awe of everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
This is Knowledge for Better. This is Kirsten Dodgen. This is Kiwi.